bring in the jury. Counsel, actually, never mind. I'm just gonna have to.
All right.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I do realize that was more than 15 minutes. Sometimes there are some issues that come up that the court has to deal with before we can bring you back in. We have dealt with that, and the defense may proceed.
When we took the break, you had indicated that you learned information about what was said in opening statements by Adam's attorneys
Yes.
about the case, right?
Yes.
And you were, I think the state asked, were you aware that he said something happened in the night of December 6th to December 7th with you alone in the car?
Yes.
And he also said, were you aware that Adam was conceding that he had been involved in the manipulation, well, the abuse of the court's charge,
Yes.
and the falsifying evidence charge?
Yes.
And you learned this the morning before you testified.
Yes.
And you learned this because your attorney spoke to you about it.
Yes.
Overruled.
And learning this allowed you to prepare for the answers that you would give.
Yes.
And you discussed the ways that you would deal with this information.
Objection.
Overruled.
Not really, no.
Okay. You thought about this information and you knew that that was different from what you had told police and the prosecutors before.
Yes.
And you thought about this information and this pointed the finger at you, right?
Yes.
And you certainly didn't want to have the finger pointed at you, right?
Right.
And you wanted to think about and prepare yourself for how you would respond to those questions. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was sort of like the prep sessions with the state and with the police, that you could think about things that had happened and maybe give a better or different explanation the next time you spoke to someone.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Yeah.
When you're a participant, right?
Right.
Okay. Or skepticism about information that you gave him, you'd sometimes change your statements, right?
Objection, Your Honor. Seems facts.
Overruled.
No.
Well, when the police spoke to you in June 3rd, you said that you were not in the bathroom and that you were not involved with what happened in the shower when Harmony's body was at Union Avenue, right?
Right.
And then the next time you talked to the police, You said you were a little bit aware, and then you slipped up and said something, and the police said, did you cut any the clothes off? And you said, yeah, the hoodie, right?
That's not how that happened, but
Okay. But you had denied anything, and then as time and their questioning went on, you acknowledged that you were a participant, right?
right.
Okay. And you talked on direct about Adam losing it in after Harmony's body was in the shower, right?
Not that day, but yes.
Okay, sometime after, right?
Right.
And that he was accusing you of cheating on him,
Yeah.
accusing you of trying to kill him,
Yes.
accusing you of having cameras all over the house,
And other things, yes.
and accusing you of blaming him for Harmony's death to the police,
No.
accusing you of telling the police.
Right. You already said that.
Pardon?
You already said that.
Okay. So he was accusing you of telling the police that he had caused Harmony's death,
Yes.
and accusing you of telling the police that you were trying to poison him.
Yes.
He was scared of you.
No.
Okay. And none of that was true, right?
What do you mean?
You weren't cheating on him, right?
Right.
And you weren't trying to poison him.
Right.
And you weren't accusing him of Harmony's death.
No.
He had just sort of lost his mind for a while, right?
Yes.
And in that time period, he got violent.
Yes.
And you told the grand jury when you were talking about that time period that he punched you twice.
I don't remember saying how many times, but yes.
Or a couple of times?
Yes.
And that sounds right? Or do you want to see your grand jury testimony?
No, I was going to say yes.
Okay. And he punched you twice, and
Objection.
Oh.
The objection is sustained.
you told the grand jury he punched you twice or a couple of times, right?
Right.
And then in March, this started to happen again, right?
It never stopped.
Okay. And you have a picture of, and I'm showing you State's Exhibit 99, of you with redness along your eyes.
Yes.
And this is a picture that you took of yourself and sent to other people, right?
Right.
Because you were angry at what he had done to you.
I sent it to my own family.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
And you left him,
Yes.
but he was the one that got arrested,
Right.
and you filed a restraining order on him,
Yes.
and went back with your mother for a while,
Yes.
and went to the shelter for a while,
Yes.
and tried to get back with Adam.
Yes.
And you're saying it was not a couple of times after Harmony's body was taken away, it was constant.
Yes.
And then He had also, we talked about, become despondent and sort of suicidal.
Objection.
It happened twice, yes.
She just said it happened twice.
Overruled.
And you took care of your kids, right?
Yes.
And took care of Adam
Yes.
and continued on with your life.
Yes.
You said that the state asked you about Adam being pure evil, right?
Yes.
And that's what you said you saw in Adam at the time that you say that he was beating Harmony.
Yes.
And you're saying that a child was beaten to death beside you, looking like pure evil, and you continued on with your children and your life with Adam.
Yeah, but it wasn't okay.
Okay. And you did nothing about Harmony's death.
No, I asked him to stop, and he didn't.
Okay. I'm talking about after Harmony was died, you continued on with your life, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't okay. It was abusive.
Okay. And you don't like that, abusive, right?
Right.
And you would not approve of abusive behavior.
Well, I was taking it
Okay.
when I shouldn't have. It took a while for me to just leave him. It's really hard.
Okay. Now, the duffel bag in the trunk of the car, you eventually got the trunk open, right?
No, we didn't get the trunk open.
Well, you eventually got a bunch of stuff out of the trunk, right?
Yes.
And were you present when Mr. Badero drove Adam back to the car?
Yes, I was with him.
And the kids were where?
With us.
Okay. And at that point, you were trying to get the rest of the stuff out of the car.
Yes.
And you were able to take some things out of the car.
Yes.
From the back seat
Yes.
and from the trunk.
Yes.
And let's talk about the letters talking about betrayal. You remember talking about that on redirect?
Yes.
Anyway, those letters were the handwritten notes that were taken from yourself.
Yes.
And you are talking about betrayal of Adam because you don't want to hurt Adam.
Right.
But I think you said on redirect, but you had to do the right thing.
Right.
And that's what you meant when you wrote the word betrayal, was that you didn't want to hurt Adam, but you had to do the right thing.
Right.
And after you wrote that letter, where you didn't want to hurt Adam, but you had to do the right thing, you went and lied to the grand jury.
When I was subpoenaed, yes.
And that was after the letter about betrayal, right?
A few months after, yes.
And that was not doing the right thing, right?
Right.
Because you knew how Harmony died, right?
Right.
And you knew when she died, right?
Right.
And you knew where she died, right?
Yes.
And the right thing would have been to tell the grand jury that information, right?
Right.
And you did not do the right thing.
Not yet.
Okay. And then I think you said that Adam and you talked about, I think you called it take the fall, because he wanted you to be with the children.
Yes.
So Adam agreed to take the fall for what happened to Harmony to protect you.
No, not just to protect me.
To protect you being there for the children.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said if anything happens, he would take the fall.
Right.
And you expected that he would do that, right?
No.
You didn't expect that he would do that.
No.
Okay. But he did, right?
No.
Ah, okay. Sorry. He took the fall in the sense that both of you represented to other people that he had taken Harmony to Crystal.
Right.
Okay. So he was allowing him to be the focus of anybody's questions, not you, right?
Right.
And you said that you said that Dunkin' Donuts, that you stuck with the story even though you didn't work at Dunkin' Donuts on the 30th, right?
Right.
And I think you said that Adam said make it sometime around Thanksgiving, right?
No.
The story about him going with Harmony off to Crystal. And
Yeah, because we got kicked out of the house, but it was just that time.
Okay. And you were the one that picked the date that you would say that you were working at Dunkin' Donuts, right?
I don't remember that.
Okay. Well, you said that you continued with your story even though you knew you didn't work that day, right?
Right.
And you continued with the story because in the middle of grand jury, you learned that they had gotten the Dunkin' Donuts records, right?
Yeah.
And you continued with the story because you weren't prepared to say anything else.
I didn't want to say the other issue of what happened.
Okay. And you had been advised prior to the grand jury testimony, those ground rules were saying every time that you lie, you might get stacked charges, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that has been the focus of everything that you have done since being arrested is to be in as little trouble as possible, right?
I'm sorry.
You have said things to try and get out of trouble or keep the trouble as little as possible, right?
No.
No? Well, when they continued asking questions, you could have asked to see your lawyer, right?
Right.
But you continued with the story, right?
Right.
Because you didn't have another one to say.
Because that's what Adam told me to say. I didn't know what else I was going to say. I just stuck with the story.
Okay. So you didn't know what else to say, so you stuck with the story, right?
Right.
And you had talked before about betraying Adam, but weren't ready at the grand jury.
Right.
Okay. And and you said that you were afraid to do anything because you were afraid of what would happen, right?
Right.
And I think one of the things that you told the state that you were afraid of what would happen was that Adam threatened to have Kevin kill you?
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin is the uncle that used to live in 77 Guilford Avenue, right?
Yes.
And the one that was in that fight with Adam that you said that you overheard in the summer?
Yes.
Okay. State talked to you about your cooperation agreement that you reached before talking to the police about what happened that you said happened to Harmony, right?
Right.
And one of the things that it said was that your statements couldn't be used against you, right?
Right.
And that they wanted the truth, right?
Right.
And you told them when you first spoke after having this agreement that you did not go into the shower at Union Avenue when Adam was manipulating the body, right?
Right.
Pardon?
Right.
And that was not the truth, right?
No.
And you didn't get in any trouble for it, right?
Right.
You just changed your testimony, right?
Right.
Objection, Your
Basis?
Honor. She didn't testify. That's what was
Oh, rephrase.
Okay.
Your statement, right?
Right.
And as time went on and they would approach you with things, you might adjust your statement to fit some of the questions, right?
Right.
Okay. And by that agreement, you were supposed to only tell the truth, right?
Right.
And your story changed somewhat, right?
Right.
And at the grand jury, you were only supposed to tell the truth, right?
Right.
And you lied.
Right. Right.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything further from the state?
Your Honor, no further questions for Ms. Montgomery.
All right, you may sit down. State may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, the state calls Ms. Courtney Garcia to the stand. When you get there, if you could please just remain standing for a brief moment. Ms. Garcia, if you would please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you will give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please feel free to have a seat.
Thank you.
And feel free to pour yourself a glass of water if you'd like, for any reason. Ms. Garcia, as we're being recorded here today, would you please state your full name and spell both your first and your last name for the record?
Yes, my name is Courtney Garcia, Courtney Garcia.
Okay, thank you. And what city do you live in?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
How long have you lived here?
About 5 years.
And are you currently employed?
Not at the moment.
Okay. What kind of jobs have you had in your life?
I've had some supervisor positions. I've worked as a counselor in the addiction field, restaurant jobs.
Okay. And currently, right now, do you have any children?
I do.
Okay. How old?
13 months.
It sounds like a handful.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, with regards to the name Adam Montgomery, have you heard that name before?
Yes.
All right. How do you know Adam Montgomery?
He is a childhood friend of my husband,
Okay. And what's your husband's name?
Matthew Garcia.
With regards to Adam Montgomery, have you met him in person before?
I have.
Okay. And also, at any point in time, were the two of you working together?
Yes, he was one of my employees.
First witness, please, Your Honor.
Mr. May?
Ms. Garcia, I'd like to show you what's been marked State's Exhibit 101. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, that's Adam Montgomery.
That's Adam Montgomery. The same man, Adam Montgomery that we're talking about?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you very specifically about Mr. Montgomery, and I'd like to ask about Thanksgiving of 2019, if I can.
Okay.
Did you see Mr. Montgomery on Thanksgiving of 2019 or around that time?
I did, on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving Day?
Yes.
Okay.
It was in the evening.
I'm sorry, in the evening?
Yes.
Okay. And I would ask if you can just kind of scoot a little bit more forward, actually. You saw him in the evening, right?
Correct.
And when you saw him in the evening, let me ask, did you become aware of where he was living at the time?
Yes, I did. He was living in his vehicle.
What did the car look like?
It was a Chrysler Sebring, very bald tires, silver to my knowledge.
And where did you see him that evening?
I saw him at the Pestataquag, I think that's how you pronounce it, apartments in Manchester, New Hampshire, in the parking lot.
Okay. What, if anything, did you do for him that day?
My husband and I provided Adam gas money, and we offered him a place to stay.
And that was on Thanksgiving, correct?
Correct.
All right. And what did Mr. Montgomery say to that when you offered him a place to stay that night? regards to Thanksgiving and staying, what did the defendant say when you made that offer?
Adam was kind of for it, but Kaylin and Adam ended up not agreeing to stay at our location.
Okay. And let me ask you, is that a conversation that you directly had with the defendant?
Yes.
And I believe a second ago you just said also Kayla. So Kayla, is that Kayla Montgomery?
Yes.
That particular day, did you see any other members of the family there?
Yes, they had their 2 sons and Harmony in the back seat.
Okay. And how did you see her in person in the back seat, or did you just know that she was there?
I just know that all 3 children were there. None of the children got out of the vehicle.
Okay. Did you look into the vehicle at any point to put eyes on them?
We offered them food, so I believe at one time I kind of put my hand in, and that was that. I didn't really look at the children, so what I was there for.
Okay. And from your recollection today, how many children were in the car at that time?
3.
Thank you. Moving forward from Thanksgiving, I want to talk to you about the couple of months after that. Did you see the defendant again, Adam Montgomery, sometime between December and January, December of 2019 into January of 2020?
Multiple times.
Okay. And at any point in time during that month, December going into January, did you have a conversation with him about Harmony and her condition?
We did, yes. Or I did, yes.
Okay. Where did Mr. Montgomery say she was at that point?
He told us that he brought Harmony back to her mother.
Do you know what her mother's name is?
Crystal, maybe?
Okay. And let me ask, with regards to that, I apologize. Did the defendant ever tell you what her name is? I should have asked a better question there.
No,
Okay.
he did not.
And with regards to how she was back with her mother, what did the defendant tell you about why that happened, or how it happened, or when it happened?
He told us that he brought her back to her mother because Harmony was having multiple accidents in the vehicle.
And by accidents, what do you mean by accidents?
She was using the bathroom in the vehicle.
What, if anything, did the defendant say about Harmony now being with her mother as compared to Harmony being with Adam?
I'm sorry, not.
Sure. At any point in time, did he talk about what kind of, with regards to what Harmony was being provided for, what she could be provided for from her mother as compared to what Adam was able to offer at that time?
A home.
A home?
Yes.
Just a moment, please, Your Honor. Let me ask you, Ms. Garcia, at one point, were you interviewed by officers of the Manchester Police Department about this interaction that we talked about today that you
was,
had with
yes.
Adam Montgomery?
Yes.
Okay. And during the time that you were speaking with them, did you tell them that the defendant told you that she was better off with her mother than with him at the time?
Basis?
Hearsay.
I'm sorry, the defendant.
Yes, I'm asking whether or not she reported those as the defendant's words at that time.
The objection is overruled.
Go ahead, Ms. Garcia.
Yes, he told us that she was better off with her mother because she could provide her a home, and Adam could not.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia. I don't have any further questions for you. I believe defense counsel will have a few.
Okay.
Hi, Ms. Garcia. You indicated on direct examination that a place to stay was offered for the night.
Correct.
Adam was kind of for it.
Yes.
Kayla wasn't.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anything further, Attorney Gotti?
Nothing else. We'd ask this witness to be excused, please.
Any objection?
No objection.
You may step down. You are excused.
Thank you.
Just a brief moment. Your Honor, at this time, the state would call Ms. Kimberly Frame to the stand. that the testimony you give this jury will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please feel free to have a seat. Ms. Frayne, as we're being recorded here today, would you please state your first and your last name for the record and spell them out for us?
Kimberly, Kimberly, Frayne, Frain.
Thank you, Ms. Frayne. Appreciate that. With regards to New Hampshire, do you live in the state?
Yes.
Okay. And generally, what town do you live in?
Meredith.
In Meredith. And what are you doing for work right now?
I'm working in healthcare at a hospital.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Almost 3 years.
How far have you gone in school?
I'm actually back in school now.
Oh, what are you studying?
Where?
What? I'm sorry, what are you studying?
It's kind of long. Healthcare administration.
Okay. And how long have you been, or how long do you have to go before you get a degree?
Like 3 more years.
3 more years?
Yeah.
All right. Pardon me. So I'm going to ask just one question at a time, so I'd ask you to please listen carefully to either my question or any other counsel's question that you get asked. And if I'm talking too quickly or if you don't understand my question, just let me know. I'll be happy to restate it, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks. Prior to where you live now, did you used to live in Manchester back in 2019?
Yes.
All right. And do you know of somebody by the name of Adam Montgomery?
Yes.
Did you ever used to work at a Dunkin' Donuts on Beach Street in Manchester?
Yes.
How long did you work there?
Like 5 years,
About 5 years?
maybe?
Okay. Let me ask, do you also know the name Kayla Montgomery?
Yes.
And what was when you, and have you met Kayla Montgomery?
Yes.
Right. What's the relationship between Kayla Montgomery and Adam Montgomery when you first met them?
I met them at work. We worked together. First I worked with Kayla, and then Adam worked with us too.
With regards to Kayla and Adam, did you ever meet Adam's daughter, Harmony Montgomery?
Once.
One time?
Yes.
Did you ever spend time with her?
Yes, I babysat her and the 2 boys, or 1 boy at the time, at my house.
At your house?
Yeah.
And would this have been back in 2019?
Yeah, I think it was the summer of 2019.
I'd like to ask some specific questions for you about Adam Montgomery, specifically about beginning in the winter of that year, at the end of 2019, all right?
Okay.
Right. Did you ever bring Adam Montgomery jumper cables to try to start a car?
Yes.
How many times have you done that for him?
Once.
Just the one time.
One time.
How did he reach out to you for help?
He either called me or it was on Facebook. I can't remember which. And he said that their car had died and it was freezing out and they wanted me to come jumpstart their car. And I told them no, but they kept begging and I felt bad. So I went.
Okay. So you said maybe they messaged you or reached out on Facebook. Is that right? Did you have a Facebook account at one point that just went by the name Kimberly Frayne?
Yeah.
And is that the account that he might have messaged you on?
Yeah.
What time was this? What time of morning was this that Adam reached out, or you got these messages asking for a jump?
It was in the middle of the night. I just remember that. It was late.
So did you go to where they were and give them a jump?
I did.
Where did you go?
It's behind Elm Street in, I think it's Colonial Apartments.
Okay. And is that at the south side of town, west side, or north side of town?
It's like right down the road from my house on the north side.
Okay. When you saw them, do you remember what kind of car they were in that night?
Yeah, they were in a blue Audi.
Now, when you went to meet them, first of all, what was the weather like that night?
It was cold. It was freezing.
So when you got there, who, if anybody, got into your car?
I pulled up and I don't remember the beginning, but I don't think I brought a jumper pack that my ex-husband had, and a good Samaritan came by and him and Adam jump started it, and Kayla jumped in my car with the two boys, and we just blasted the heat to keep them warm.
To keep them warm?
Yeah.
So you said it was Kayla and the two boys?
Two boys.
Okay. So I know you said before that you had babysat Harmony on one occasion. Was Harmony there with you? Did she get into the car as well with Kayla and the two boys?
No,
Did you see Harmony at all while you were there that night?
no.
And I believe you said a good Samaritan came along. Do you remember who that is or even know who that
No,
is?
it was just somebody in the complex saw us struggling.
Okay. And I guess I'll ask this one other question. After that one time, did you ever jump a car for them again?
No, I was distancing myself from them. at that point.
Do you remember the exact day that this occurred in the winter of 2019, end of 2019?
don't.
Okay. Just that it was very cold out, is that right?
Yeah.
Just a moment, please, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you, Ms. Frayne. I have one more question just for you in general. With regards to conversations that you've had with Adam Montgomery, the defendant in this case, with regards to the conversations, did you ever have a conversation with him about Harmony having bathroom accidents or wetting herself or defecating herself in her pants?
I don't think so. Not him.
Not him?
No.
Okay. With anybody else?
Maybe with Kayla, but I don't remember exactly.
Well, and I don't want you to guess. So if you remember, you remember. If you don't, you don't.
I
That's
don't.
okay. And so you're saying your testimony is you don't.
I don't remember.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I have no further questions for you. I believe defense counsel may have a few.
Thank you.
Counsel? You want to move, come up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, and I only have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Do you recall that whatever car that you jumped, you thought it was a blue Audi?
Yeah.
And you know from before that Adam used to drive a Sebring.
It was a silver car.
Okay. This was not the car that Adam used to drive around, right? And you remembered this way back in 2021 when the police first asked you about it, right?
Yeah.
And your memory, even the first time you talked about it, was a blue Sebring. Blue Audi.
No, I think I might have told them I think I told them it was the silver car, but
Okay.
it was the Audi they were in.
Okay, so you're really clear about that, huh?
Yeah.
So what changed when you first said the Sebring and then sort of recalled the Audi?
I just couldn't remember the time frames because it was so long ago.
Okay, so I understand that, but what changed your recollection of the type of car?
Objection, Your Honor, has been answered at this point.
Overruled. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I think you said at first you told him it was the Sebring, but then the blue Audi when they first started questioning you on it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what it was that made you say that it was the blue Audi?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further?
We ask this witness to be excused.
You may step down. Counsel approach. is 10:04, and I don't want to get started with another witness and take you too long beyond 4 o'clock. So we're going to end for the day. I know earlier when I left this morning, there were some reports about weather. I have kept an eye on it as we've taken breaks throughout the day. The reports actually look much better than was originally anticipated. And we're New Hampshireites, so we're used to weather. But it does not look like it is going to be the significant weather event that they had originally predicted. So I'm going to keep an eye on the weather throughout the night. At this point, the court will be open. We will. I have every expectation that we are going to go forward tomorrow with trial. So I'll need you here at 8:45. If anything were to change, we would let you know well before then. I know we have contact information for all of you. I'll double check to make sure that that's correct. So keep an eye out on your email or text messages, but I think it is extremely unlikely that we would not have trial tomorrow, so you should all plan accordingly. Put your boots beside the door. So 8:45 tomorrow morning. As I said, don't read anything about this. Avoid all news media regarding this case. Don't look anybody up. Don't do any independent research. And I will see you tomorrow morning for a 9 a.m. start. Thank you so much, everybody, for your attention today. Thank you. Great. Can you just make sure that I'll call downstairs to Ann, make sure she has everybody's contact information. Okay. If you call downstairs to Ann, make sure before we let them out. All right, everybody, you can be seated. Any last minute issues we need to address? You can do it from there. I think, unless you think there's something that would be privileged, but otherwise I say do it from there. Okay. Okay.
We've heard from Attorney Sheehan. We understand that Mr. Rodero would likely go ahead and vote for some of the cross-examination that we anticipated of him. So as a result, we suddenly have a conversation with our office this evening as to whether or not we be granted, and we'll have an answer for you on that prior to him taking the stand, or the day of him taking the stand. So we will hopefully go ahead and be able to resolve that issue.
Okay. When you say the day of his taking the stand, that would be will not be problematic, I don't believe, if immunity is granted. If immunity is not granted, it may become an issue. So we'll need time to do that.
Understood, Your Honor. I believe that is. I believe that authorization will likely be given.
Okay. So anything, Attorney Smith, Attorney Brooks, you want to say about that? Okay. Do you agree with what I just said, which is if immunity is granted, I don't see any issue or the need for any hearing prior to his taking the stand? Obviously, as soon as immunity is granted, you will give any immunity letter to the defense right away, right?
Of course.
Okay. So, and if in the event that were not accurate, then I'd want to know right away, because I would want to want to make sure we have time for a hearing on that.
With regards to that, Your Honor, I believe for the loss of procedure, we would have to submit the letter to the court. The court would have to sign off on the order before that would happen, and then obviously both sets of counsel will have it. So I would anticipate that would happen well in advance of him testifying.
Okay, good. If there's any issues there, you're going to let me know, I'm sure. So please do. Anything else from your perspective that we can accomplish today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Actually, I have every expectation that we will go forward tomorrow. Like I said, I looked at least, maybe not the last break, but at lunchtime, and it looked like, 3.5 inches of snow or something like that. So I think I have every expectation that we're going to go forward tomorrow. If there were any changes, I want the best contact information for you all. And maybe, you know, just in case we can't get to one member of your team, maybe it makes sense to give us contact information for both. And then once we contact the first person, we would have you contact your co-counsel. But like I said, I think I have every expectation that we will go forward tomorrow, so you should have your witnesses ready to go. Anybody runs into any trouble, please let us know. Okay. Yeah, excellent. Attorney Agati or Attorney Knowles, do you need Tabitha Scott tomorrow, or are you going to ask us for a new transport order, or what's the situation?
We are not for tomorrow, Your Honor, no.
Okay, so you'll keep us apprised
Yes.
in advance, so, because we've got to issue a transport order.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I think
Your Honor, do you have that contact information?
if you would give your contact information to the clerk, and she and I can sort out what will happen with that. All right, anything else? No? Okay, I will see you all tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You can give her this stuff. Thank you. You can give her